if you want to get access to a template family, you have to go with new family, and there among the templates that we have, you have to make sure that which one is better working for you. Right now, since we just want to do a generic or a general component, I would say even metric generic model would be working for us. So I'm gonna stick with metric generic model here. So that was the one that we just selected and opened that up. So here we are in this page. And then I would just like saying that unlike, let's say, the main page of Revit, we do have different sort of tools here. So for example, on Create, we have Extrusion, Blend, Revolve, Sweep, Sweep Blend, Void Forms. Technically, all these tools are available, let's say, at our hand, so then we can develop as much as component that we wish. Because every single component indirectly is made of these tools. So no matter what that component is, at the end of the day, it's a combination of all these tools getting that component happen. So again, the first step is to set up our unit. So I'm gonna press UN and then gonna click here, gonna go with meters, 2 decimal places, unit symbol M, click OK, and another OK, right? So again, nothing new, just like first setting up our unit. Then let's get to see that what are those tools that we can get to use them. So first of all, we want to get to know each and every single tool that we have here. Number one is Extrusion. So number one tool that we're going to work with is called Extrusion. Once I click on Extrusion, and as you can see here, I'm on ref level. Ref level is like a floor plan on the actual project template. So let's say instead of level 1, level 2 here, we're having ref level. So right now that I'm on ref level, to do an extrusion, I just need to define a closed loop here. So then Revit can extrude that defined boundary for us. So for example, if I define a simple rectangle here, as easy and simple as you can see, and then here, I can also mention that, let's say, where that extrusion start and where to be ended. For example, I wish to be starting from 0, 0, and then getting all the way up to 1 meter. So I put like 1 meter there. So let's say I do have some sort of like dimension here, which is not important because this is like a random rectangle that we have. However, we exactly know that what is the depth of this rectangle. So once I press that finish part, this rectangle or this 2D defined boundary will be turning into a cube. So if I click on finish, as you can see, and then I go on the 3D view, you can see that we just defined or we just developed a cube. So far, super easy and simple. What we've done is we're using the create, the extrusion here. We just define a boundary, right? And then we also defined a depth for it, where to start and where to be finished. And that's it. So as easy as you can see, you can have your own cube here. Then what we can do is to select that cube and also be able to extend each and every single dimension of it, right? So that is extrusion. Then again, I'm gonna go to the ref level. This time, instead of using the extrusion, I'm gonna go with blend. Let us see what is the difference between extrusion and blend. Technically, blend is the same tool as extrusion with just like one advantage. What is that advantage? Is that instead of only having one single defined boundary, we could have two. So in a case that we need to have, let's say, at least 2 boundaries, that would be really useful. So let's say the first boundary for me is going to be the same. For example, something as a rectangle. Then once I'm done with the first one, which is typically getting happen on the lower base, then I'm going to go for the top base. So going to click on edit top. And then, for example, the boundary that I wish to have on the top will be something like an polygon here. So gonna click there, assuming that what I want to have is something as an polygon. Again, first and second end. So for example, I want to have the starting from 0 and then ending up with a meter. Click on finish, and as you can see, we would be able to have a blend here. So here, what blend is, you will be able to define two different boundaries. It's like really easy and simple, almost like everything same as extrusion, but just like the main difference is instead of only having one boundary, you will be able to define two boundaries at the same time. So far we're all clear about the extrusion and blend, which has been really easy. Then the next one on our list is Revolve. So let us see what is Revolve. Revolve is actually a very useful tool, and it can help you to build as much as different forms that you wish. So for example, I'm gonna go again on the ref level here. Gonna go with solid Revolve, and here, as you can see, we have two different tools here. Number one is the boundary line, and the second one is the axis line. So first of all, we need to define a boundary, and then we need to define an axis line. So let's do that together. For example, the boundary that I want to have would be something like that, in super easy and simple rectangle. And then the axis that I wish to have is already located on this leg of the rectangle. So as you can see, the pink color is the boundary line, which is a closed loop. And then the axis line is the blue one, which is just located on the leg of this rectangle. So if I click on finish, and again go on 3D, as you can see, a cylinder is just getting happen, right? So as you can see, it's actually in common sense. Once we are using a Revolve, we are actually ordering Revit to copy paste that rectangle 360 degree. So as the result, we would be end up with an cylinder. Also, we need to notice that the rectangle that we just defined was on ref level, right? So then also the axis was on ref level too. So as the result, that is getting happen around the axis, which is located on the ref level, right? However, this time, instead of be working with the ref level, I want to switch my reference plane that I'm working with and see what will be the difference between the ref level or any other plane that I would be working with. So again, gonna go with create. So this time, let's work with an front template. So for example, this is front and back. This is left and right. So let's go on front, or you can also choose front and back, left and right from the project browser. I'm gonna go on front, right? This is the front view of my family template that I'm working with. So what I'm gonna do, again, I'm gonna go with create, gonna go with the Revolve, and this time gonna define my boundary on the front view here. So the same thing, just an easy and simple rectangle, and then put on an axis line on the leg of that rectangle. So everything the same, just the difference is this time, instead of be working on the ref level, I'm working on the front view. That's the only difference. Gonna again click on finish, go on 3D, and as you can see this time, instead of having a horizontal cylinder, we're having a vertical cylinder, right? So this is the difference of working with different plane. Again, I'm gonna click on edit Revolve. So as you can see, the pattern that we just did, this is located on the ref level, right? For that reason, we had a cylinder around this, I would say, around this axis that you can see. However, the other one, if I click on edit Revolve, it's all getting happen on the front view plane, right? Or on the front plane. For that reason, the cylinder is just getting happen around the axis which is located on the front view, right? So those are the main differences. What else we have? We have sweep here. So sweep is actually another very important tool that I would say is the most common tool that we always use in families. So let us see how we would be able to use sweep. So if I click on sweep here, as you can see, first we need to define a sketch path. So number one is to always define a sketch path. Right now, I'm gonna go on ref level again. So gonna put my sketch path on the ref level. Click on sketch path. For example, the sketch path that I just wanna define is gonna be a rectangle. So that is the path that I'm gonna be defining for my sweep. Then gonna click on finish. And as you can see right now, once I'm done with the sketch path, it's time to define a profile for it. So you need to define a profile here. So that profile can track all the path from starting to the end and form a shape. So I'm gonna go on 3D so you guys can better see the path and the profile that it needs to be defined here. Gonna click on select profile, edit profile, and define a random profile here. For example, with a circular cross section, something like that, right? So that is the profile that I just defined, and this is the sketch path that I defined for my sweep. Now, once I click on finish and do a final finish again, as you can see, a sweep model just getting happen. So I would say most likely with sweep, you would be able to define frames, right? So frames are usually formed with the sweep. Sweep is like very useful and very common in, I would say, almost every single component or family that you wish to create. So that is sweep. Now let's see what would be the difference if we start to change or switch the template, not the template, I would say the work plane that we would be working with. So I'm gonna go with create this time again. Definitely gonna go with sweep, but before like starting to work with sweep, I wanna go with set here, set work plane. So I would say the biggest advantage of having set plane is that you will be able to define or select the plane that you wish to be working with. Let's click on set work plane. Once you click there, you will be able to go for even like either with name or pick plane, right? So we have name that, as you can see here, we have ref level, we have front back, we have left, right? Those are the, I would say, different sort of workspaces that you can work with or work planes. Or you can pick one manually. So for example, what if I want to pick a plane? So I'm going to go with pick a plane, click on OK, and pick just like the surface of that cube that we have, for example, that one. Then I can be able to turn on show, so I would be able to see my work plane that I'm working with it here, right? Then I'm gonna go with sweep, right? And I'm gonna define my sketch path. Let's define the sketch path that way. So for example, I'm gonna put on a pick plane or a pick line here with an offset of 0.10. And then start to select the corners of that cube. So I just made an sketch path here, gonna click on finish, then select profile, edit profile, and for that profile, for example, I'm gonna define a random polygon like that, and then click on finish. The final finish, and as you can see, that easy, you will be able to form a special shape. Now that we're all fine with the sweep part, we can move on with the other tools that we have here. So we're just fine with the extrusion, blend, revolve, sweep. Now let's see what is sweep blend. Sweep blend is also a combination of sweep and blend, as you can see from the name. So I'm gonna click on sweep blend. So as you can see, first we have to again initiate with an sketch path. So gonna click on sketch path, but this time we wouldn't be able to define a closed loop here. So unlike sweep, we wouldn't be able to define an closed boundary. What I can do, I can either define a straight line or a curved line. So for example, I'm gonna go with a curved line, something like that. And then as you can see, we have two options for the profiles. So gonna click on finish, select profile 1, edit profile, and then define a random profile there. Click on finish. This time we have to go again with select profile 2, edit profile, and then define another random profile. Something like that, as you can see. Click on finish, and then the final finish to be able to blend these two shapes together. By clicking on the final check mark, as you can see, that shape could be happening. So again, as what we said, it's a combination between the sweep and the blend. However, you guys wouldn't be able to end up with a closed loop or with a frame or something. It's always only a line or a curved line, right? Either like a straight one or a curvy one. That's it. So I would say all the forms that we will be using in Revit is either a combination of extrusion, blend, revolve, sweep, or sweep blend. So with having all these forms together, we would be able to imagine and form all the components that we have. So for example, if I want to do a table, I would say with a combination of extrusion and sweep, I would be able to end up with a table. If I want to do any sort of complicated or sophisticated object that we might see in Revit, it's always a combination of everything. However, apart from these solid forms that we just learned how to do them, we also have void forms. So exactly the same forms that we just did together, we can also void objects with them. Let's say, what if I want to have a void extrusion on the middle of, let's say, that solid extrusion that we have. So I'm going to go on ref level. This time I'm going to go with void extrusion. Again, as if like I'm doing a solid extrusion, I can just define a rectangle here, right? Then I can be saying that I want to be started from 0 to 1 or any other value that I want to put in, right? Then click on finish, go on 3D view. So that we just like mixed up that one with this one that we wanted to do. So instead what I can do, I can move that in here. Now it's not yet getting cut that off. So what I can do is to select that void part. So the color is on an orange thing, right? I select the void extrusion, then I go on cut geometry, click there, select that void and select your cube. So as you can see, the cube is getting voided, right? Let's do another example. I'm gonna go on ref level, gonna go on create, gonna go with void sweep this time. So let's say I wanna have a sweep that's gonna be voiding some part of that cube. So gonna go with sketch path. That should be, let's say, my sketch path that I have. I want to make sure that equally getting voided from every single side. Click on finish, then gonna go to 3D and then define and select profile, edit profile, for example, a polygon, something like that. Click on finish. and then click on another finish. As you can see, the void form that we just talked is actually cutting the whole shape off. So as you can see, a form of polygon as a form of sweep is cutting off the whole cube. As the result, we would be able to see that cube that way. I would be able to also move that void part. So for example, if I go on the back or front view, here, as you can see, I will be able to bring that up even. See, whatever sort of form that you wish to have, you will be able to form that by thinking that, okay, I want to do some sort of form. Sometimes it's not easy to come up with a final form at a first shot, meaning that you wouldn't be able to use the solid forms to end up with a final form. However, once you do a combination between the solid part and the void part, you will be able to get way more closer to the final result. So always we have to imagine, we have to first design that what would be the workflow to go there. Would I be able to go there like one shot with just like the solid stuff, or no, would be like I should be using a combination of them? So here it's the answer of that question. For getting to inform kind of thing like here, we have to use a combination of them. Sometimes it's much more easy to go, let's say, with only like solid stuff. The other time, it's essential to be using a combination of the forms or the void and solid forms. So I hope you guys find this video useful, and please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done it yet, as I'm always constantly updating the contents to make sure that you guys are getting to learn new stuff and tricks. Thank you.